Hey budding authors, Natasa Denman here, coming to you guys from Adelaide. We just made the trip across from Perth. We had our signature workshop in Perth yesterday and then spent the afternoon there and have come across to Adelaide today for our event tomorrow. This light is very, very bright over here. I'm just gonna see if I can find a different spot. There we go. I'll just stand right here so you can see my face a bit clearly and I'm not super white. So I've been doing a little bit of research and I always like to continue educating myself on the ins and outs of publishing and the different routes obviously people take, and we talk about all of those in our half-day workshop. But something that it was very, very, very interesting that I read in a book and an article, I don't know exactly where it was, is how and why traditional publishers accept authors as their manuscripts to then obviously publish them. So a lot of people obviously would love to be traditionally published because the investment of the production of the book is then taken care of by that particular publishing house. And it's been said, of course, there's a lot of rejection from these companies, and it takes a super long time, like 2 or 3 years often for a project to be completed. But the other thing that I wasn't super aware of, and of course I'm always learning and educating myself in this industry, being the one that we specialize in. I mean, we do a self-publishing to the books that we help bring out into reality, and really that is the most a recommended way that you go about writing your very first book. But the thing that I read up a little bit on the plane, on the flight from Perth to Adelaide, is that traditional publishers generally will not accept anyone. Doesn't matter if the manuscript is rock solid and you've written, the next War and Peace or whatever it is, Harry Potter book. What they actually want to see is that you actually have a following, and that you have some kind of established network, because to them, because they don't end up marketing your book. That's also another thing you should be aware of. They may do a launch of your book. However, a lot of your marketing efforts still remain in your court. And so unless you have a following, they will prioritize, if they've accepted you, of course, they will prioritize their celebrity authors, because they know they have a huge following and network established, and that's what they see. I mean, they're thinking about, of course, how are we going to profit from this, because their business model is, yes, they'll pay for your editing, your design, and all that kind of stuff, but they're not going to obviously do the marketing. They actually want to know that you have a following, that you have a network, and therefore that the sales of this book will be funded through the people that are your fans, right? So that was something that I hadn't thought about before. And when I read it, and I thought, wow, that so makes sense. So if you're a first-time author, and most people who follow this page are first-time authors, definitely the way to go about doing your book is to first self-publish. And then when you do establish those fans and followers and you have done the groundwork to market your own book, then you, of course, can go to traditional publishing houses and show them your results and then have it published so that you can get into more easier into the bookstores. The other thing is to consider is that most traditional publishers will keep 85 to 95% of the cost of the sale of the book. So you may end up only with 5 to 15% of it. And of course, the rights need to be considered. So really, really important. And this is why we created Ultimate 48-Hour Author, because we know it's not all just about writing a book. It is about the marketing, the credibility, the strategies that you need to do to monetize your book and actually take your business and that book to success. So that's something that I wanted to come on and share. That was, for me, was an aha moment. As I said, I'm always researching in interesting ways of looking at the publishing industry and actually what are the intentions behind different people that help you publish. And this is exactly exactly what I cover off, and I'll be revealing it. This will be actually a whole new little content piece that I'll be bringing into my half-day event, because I shared all the other stuff that I've shared. However, this was like, oh wow, is that what they also look at? So it's not just your manuscript, you guys. Can you believe it? It's not. You can be the most awesome writer and have an amazing story and everything, but no, you got to work on building your network. And I have always been a big believer, and I have always taught people that you need to become famous offline before you become famous online. And that's why I so encourage every single author or author to get out there, go to a couple of events every week consistently and build that following, build those fans. And it doesn't have to be a ton of people. There's a book that's been written called 1,000 True Fans. Look it up. And highly recommended, because if you get to that point, you will have that maximum leverage with the minimal, craziness, so you can get to a point where you can achieve the leverage, but your life won't be disrupted by being stopped in the middle of the street everywhere. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I hope this was a valuable little piece of content and insight into the traditional publishing world and what they're looking for when they're considering manuscripts. They're actually looking at your profile. They're looking at your network. They're looking at your followers. So how are you building those? And I trust you're going to focus and spend more time. That old saying, your network is your net worth, is completely relevant. So do self-publish your very first book, build up that following, the fans, and certainly the backdoor entry into traditional publishing is to then approach them with your results. After all, Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Harry Potter were two books that were originally self-published and then picked up by traditional publishers. All right, guys, Natasha Denman, the ultimate 48-hour author, signing off from Adelaide. Looking forward to meeting a fully booked room here for the signature workshop tomorrow, and then heading back home to Melbourne for the weekend and catching up with our kiddies. Bye.